Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss about how to design data path with control unit for memory reference instructions, arithmetic logic instructions and for branching instructions. The picture shows the simple data path with control unit. So initially the program counter will be containing the address of the next instruction to be fetched. The processor will be fetching the instruction from the instruction memory based on the address from the program counter. The instruction is a 32-bit binary value. In that, the first 6 bits are the opcode field. So based on the 6-bit opcode only, the control unit going to generate all the control signal. So we can see all the control signals one by one. The first control signal is known as register destination signal. Actually, this signal is used to select between RT as well as RD. So, which register out of this RT and RD should act as destination register? That will be based on register destination signal. So, if it is an R type instruction, so we will be having RD as destination. So the instructions like load word like data transfer instruction, in that RT will be my destination register. In that, if I want to select RD as destination register, I have to assert this register destination signal. Asserting means making the signal logic 1. Deasserting means making the signal logic 0. Okay. So if I want to select RD as my destination register, through this mux, the second data has to be come out. For that, this signal should be logic 1. So if I want to select RD as my destination register, the reg DST should be asserted. If I want to consider RT as my destination register in case of load word instruction like that, at that time I have to deassert the register DST signal. The second control signal is branch signal. The branch signal is asserted only for branching instructions. All the remaining cases, the branch signal will be deasserted. The third signal is memory read instructions. If I want to load any data initially from the data memory to a register, at that time only I am going to assert the memory read. If memory read is asserted, so I can able to read the data from the data memory. So if I want to write any data to the data memory, at that time memory write has to be asserted. Deasserting memory read will not cause any function, as well as deasserting memory write also won't be having any effect. So if I want to read any data from the data memory, I have to assert the memory read signal. If I want to write any data to the data memory, I have to assert the memory write signal. Memory to register. So in some cases, initially the register won't be having any initial data. At that time, I have to load the data from the data memory to register. For that case, I have to assert the mem register signal, so that through this path I can able to load the data from the data memory to register memory. So by deasserting the memory to register signal, the intermediate result from the ALU can be stored back to the register memory. ALU source. Actually, ALU source is the control signal used to select the second source to the ALU. Actually, second source to the ALU can be from a register or can be from an immediate value from the last 16 digit of the instruction. So if I want to choose the second source of the ALU as register, then at that time I have to deassert the ALU source. If I want to choose the second operand for the ALU as an immediate value, so I have to assert the ALU source. For example, if I am going to do any immediate operation, so I have to add the content of a register with an immediate value. At that time I will be asserting the ALU source. So this 16 bit the last 16 bits of the instruction, that will be your immediate value, that will be sign extended and converted for 32 bit. Then only I can able to operate two 32 bit number, right? So I can able to choose that immediate value through this multiplexer if my ALU source is asserted. So in case of R-type instruction, my both the source operands are from the source registers RS as well as RT. So at that time, I need to choose both the input to the ALU are from registers only. So second source also from a register. So I will be deasserting the ALU source and I will be choosing the register content for operation. The last control signal, so I have omitted ALU OP that I will come back. Reg write. So if I want to write any data to the register, so I will be asserting reg write. If I want to read any data from the register, so I will be deasserting the reg write. So if you see, all the control signals are single bit except ALU OP. The bolded control signals, these are all not single bit. Actually, ALU OP is a 2-bit control signal, and the control signal to ALU is the 4-bit control signal. So this is the control chart. So depending on the instruction opcode, so we will be generating the 2-bit ALU OP first. For the memory reference instructions, the ALU OP is 00. For the branch instruction, it is 01. For the all the R type instructions, it is 10. So as I have mentioned in the previous video, ALU is used for 3 different purposes. In the memory reference instructions, we will be utilizing ALU only for addition. So in case of branching instruction, we will be utilizing ALU as a subtractor. For R-type instruction, depending on the last 6 digit, so it will be performing all the ALU operation. Likewise, for the memory reference instruction like load word as well as stored word, ALU OP will be 00. At that time, ALU will be performing addition based on the 4-bit control signal 0010. So 0010 is the control signal to the ALU to perform addition. In case of branching instruction, the 2-bit ALU OP is 01. For subtraction, the 4-bit ALU control signal will be 0110. For R-type instruction, ALU OP is 10 and the control signal will be generated based on the last 6 bits in the instruction. That is your function field. So based on the function only, this 4-bit control signal will be generated. If my function is addition, 0010 will be the control signal. For subtraction, 0110. For logical operation and 0000. For OR, 0001. For set on less than, 0111. These are all about the control signal. Another important control signal is zero signal. Actually, zero signal is based on the result of ALU. If my ALU result is 0, the zero signal will be asserted. For the remaining cases, zero signal will be deasserted. For example, if by doing any operation between these two input, if my ALU result is 0, so logic 1 will be generated through this particular signal. For the remaining cases, 0 will be the control signal value. So I will give an overview about this data path along with control unit. So initially the program counter will be having the address of the instruction to be fetched. The processor will be fetching the instruction based on this particular address. So meanwhile the program counter will be updated with the next instruction to be fetched, that is PC plus 4 will be updated through this particular path. So instruction decoder will be decoding this 32-bit instruction. So based on the opcode, the control signal will be generated. So this is the register number of RS. This is the register number of RT. This is the register number of RD. So based on the instruction, this multiplexer will be choosing whether RT or RD as destination. So based on this register number from register file, the processor will be choosing the corresponding registers, and for the operation of ALU, that registers will be read. So reading operation will be happening here. the data will be transferred to ALU for operation. So this multiplexer is used to choose the second source of the ALU, whether it may be a data from a register or it may be an immediate value. So after performing, the result will be stored back to the register through this path. So after ALU result will be stored back to the register through this path, or if the entire operation is completed, the result will be stored back to the data memory through this path. So for example, if an addition operation is happening, after finding the result will be come back to the register. I am not going to do any further operation. At that time, the register content will be stored back to the data memory again. For example, in initial cases and all, my register won't be having any initial value. At that time, I will be loading the data from the data memory. Then that will be taken for calculation. And this path is used for calculating the branch target address if any branching instruction is encountered. For example, if a branch instruction is coming, the branch signal will be asserted, as well as the comparison between, for example, BEQ is the instruction. So I have to make the comparison between RS and RT. So ALU will be performing subtraction. If both the contents are same, then ALU result will be 0. The 0 signal will be asserted. So branch target signal also will be asserted. 0 signal will be asserted. The AND gate result will be logic 1. So this particular path will be chosen by the multiplexer. Actually, what is happening in this path is the 16-bit offset value is sign extended to 32-bit, then it is multiplied by 4. Actually, shift left by 2 is multiplied by 4. Again, it is get added with PC plus 4. So PC plus 4 plus offset into 4 will be my target address. It will be loaded back to the program counter if in case of branch instruction. So this is the overview about symbol data path with control unit. Now we can able to see the cases one by one. The first case is the design of symbol data paths for R-type instruction. So this is the instruction format for R-type instruction. For R-type instruction, the opcode will be 0. Second field is RS, RT, then RD, shift amount, then last field is function. For example, I am going to design the data path for this particular instruction. Add T1 is my destination register, T2 is my RS source register, T3 is my RT source register. So this instruction is saved in the instruction memory as a binary value, 32-bit binary value. So this is my opcode for R type. So this is the function, 6-bit function for add. So 32 is the function for add. This is the binary representation of 32. So this is RS. RS is my T2. So from this reference table, T2 is register number 10. So 10 is my T2, 11 is my T3, that is RT, RD is my destination register, that is T1. So T1 is 9. Here shift amount is 0. So this is the instruction which is initially stored in the instruction memory. So for example, this instruction is stored in the address 2000, for example. Okay. So the program counter will be having the address 2000 now. So the processor will be looking on to the 2000th address and fetching the 32-bit this particular instruction. 32-bit instruction for add. So now the control unit will be looking on to the first 6-bit, that is my opcode. Here the opcode is all 0. By seeing that, the control unit can identify that it is an R-type instruction, and based on that control signal will be generated. Here it is an R-type instruction, so I have the destination register as RD. So this RG reg destination control signal will be asserted, so that the RD will be chosen as destination register. Since it is an R-type instruction, the branch signal will be deasserted. Here I am not going to read or write any data from the memory. So memory read as well as memory write will be deasserted. And initially it is an R-type instruction, assuming that all the content of the registers are already loaded. According to R-type register addressing mode, the operands are directly registers. So we are not going to load any data from the memory. So memory to reg also deasserted. So ALU OP signal. So since it is an R-type instruction, the ALU OP is 10. Now it is an R-type instruction. So the control unit, the control signal for ALU will be generated based on ALU OP as well as the last 6 digit of the instruction. Last 6 digit is 100000. By combining these two control signals, the ALU control for addition will be generated, that is 0010. We have seen already the reference table. Now ALU know what operation to be performed. It is an addition for two operands. Operands will be chosen based on the register number. So ALU source, the second source of the ALU also from a register, since it has an R type. So this ALU source is deasserted to select the second source to the ALU as from the register. So now which register to be read? So for that the second and third field of the instruction, second and third field of the instruction will be analyzed. So this is the register number for RS, this is the register number of RT. So initially I have to read the data from the register. So initially reg write signal will be 0. Reg write signal will be deasserted. At that time register file will be in the read mode. RS and RT register number will be analyzed based on the instruction, and that particular register number will be checked inside the register file. From that the data will be fetched and loaded to ALU for operation. Now addition operation will be performed. The result has to come back to the register RD. So RD register number is 9, that is for T1. Now for writing the data to the register, the processor has to assert the reg write signal to logic 1, then the result will be load back to or return back to the register T1. So this is the normal operation which is happening for R-type instruction. So this is the way we have to design the data path for R-type instruction. Here in the general data path we will be having all the components. For designing R-type, so we are not calculating any branching. So these two components won't be there. Sign extension unit won't be there, and we are not going to load or store any value to the data memory. So data memory component also not included in the R-type instruction. The component number 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 components will be excluded while designing the R-type instruction. Since the result is not a 0, sometimes if a subtraction is performed, I can able to obtain a logic 0. So at that time 0 signal may asserted, but actually the branch signal is deasserted since it is not a branching instruction. So always for an R-type instruction, the output of this AND gate will be always 0. The result of the 0 signal can be asserted or deasserted based on the ALU result. But since my branch signal is deasserted always for an R-type instruction, the output of the AND gate will be always 0. So always the PC plus 4 will be loaded to the program counter value. So this is the data path of R-type instruction. So we can able to see the next one, data path design for load or store instruction. So load as well as store instruction is coming under I-type instruction format. 35 is the opcode for load, 43 is the opcode for store. For example, I am going to design the data path for load. So load word, so this is the destination register RT. Here RT is my destination register. T2 is my base register, so offset. So initially ALU will be performing addition between offset value as well as base register value. So output of my ALU is an address. From that address, the data memory will be analyzed, the data will be fetched and loaded to the register, destination register T1. So this is the binary representation of this particular instruction. Consider this instruction is saved in the address space 8000. So processor will be looking onto the program counter initially having that value 8000. Processor will be looking onto the 8000th address to fetch the instruction, the 32-bit instruction. The first 6-bit field is my opcode. The control signal will be analyzing the first 6-bit field. So by seeing the 6-bit field, it can able to identify that. So this is the opcode for load word. So for load word, I have only two registers, RS and RT. RS is my base register, RT is my destination register. So destination register has to be chosen as RT. So I have to deassert the reg DST value. This control signal will be deassert to choose RT as my destination register. This is not a branching instruction, so branch signal will be deasserted. I am going to read the data from the data memory. So in order to load the data, so initially ALU will be performing addition between base register value as well as the 16-bit offset value. So offset value will be sign extended to 32-bit. So these two content will be added to calculate the address. So based on that address, the data will be fetched from the data memory. So I have to perform read operation. So memory read will be asserted. So memory to register. So I have to load the value from the data memory, not from the ALU. ALU is having only the address. So I have to load the data from the data memory. So this mem to reg signal also will be asserted. Next one is ALU OP. So ALU OP signal for load word. So it is a data transfer instruction or memory reference instruction. For that, the ALU OP is 2-bit control signal, that is 00. So here the ALU will be acting as an adder for adding the offset value as well as the immediate so offset value as well as base register value. So for addition, the control signal will be 0010. And I am not going to write any data to the data memory. So write signal will be deasserted. ALU source, I have to choose the immediate value. So I have to assert the ALU source value. And reg write, I am going to initially read the content from the data memory. After performing ALU operation, address will be calculated and I will be fetching the data memory and it will be returned back to the register. So initially I have to deassert the reg write to read the base register, and after fetching the data from the data memory, I will be writing the data to the register. So initially register file will be in the read mode. After that it will be in the write mode. Okay. So initially I have to fetch the data of the base register based on the base register number. Base register number is 10, it is T2. So that register number will be traced and the data will be fetched and loaded to the ALU. The second source of the ALU is from the 16-bit offset value. We can't able to add a 32-bit as well as a 16-bit. So the 16-bit offset value is sign extended to 32-bit and it will be selected through this multiplexer by asserting ALU source. Now the first data to the ALU is a base register content. Second data is the offset value. This will get added to calculate the address with which we have to fetch the data and load the data to the destination register. From this address, the data will be fetched by asserting the mem2 register value, and meanwhile the reg write will be asserted to activate the register to writing mode. So the fetched data will be stored to the register based on the RT register number. RT register number is 9, that is T1. So T1 will be traced and T1 will be loaded with the value which is fetched from the data memory. So this is the simple data path implementation for load instruction. So next one is for branch instruction. For branching, for example, I am going to implement this particular implement the data path for this particular instruction. BEQ, the opcode for branch on equal is 4. So this is my RS, this is my RT, this is the address to be branched based on the content on RT1 and T2. The binary representation of this particular address is this. Consider this instruction is stored in the address space 2000. The program counter will be having the address 2000. So 2000 processor will be looking on to this 2000th address and fetching the 32-bit instruction. The control unit will be looking on to the first 6 bit of the instruction field, that is your opcode. Here opcode is 4. So by seeing the opcode, it can able to understand that it is a branching instruction. So here both RS and RT are source register. So RT should not be chosen as destination register. So my reg destination signal will be asserted so that RT won't be chosen as destination register. Since it is a branching instruction, branch signal will be asserted. I am not going to read any data from memory register. I am not going to load any data from the memory. So mem read as well as mem2reg will be deasserted. So ALU OP signal for branch instruction is 0, 1. So here my ALU will be acting as a subtractor. For subtraction, the ALU control signal is 0, 1, 1, 0. I am not going to write any value to the data memory. So mem write will be deasserted. ALU source. So I have to compare the data from 2 registers only. So second source to the ALU also from a data from a register. So ALU source will be deasserted. Here I am not going to write any data to the register. Simply I am going to read the data. So reg write also will be deasserted. So now I have to compare RS as well as RT based on the register number. These two register number will be checked inside the register file. From that registers, the data will be fetched and loaded to ALU for comparison. Subtraction will be taken place based on the control signal. If my result, if both the data inside these two registers are same, then the ALU will produce a result 0. If my ALU result is 0, the 0 signal will be asserted. So now my branch signal as well as 0 signals are logic 1. So the output of the AND gate also logic 1. So the path will be the target branch path will be enabled, and PC plus 4 plus offset into 4, that value will be loaded to the program counter. So this is the way your processor will be performing branch equal instruction. So if you see in branch equal instruction, the data memory is not included. This multiplexer is also not included. This multiplexer also not included. These three components are not included in the data path. Sometimes in university question paper, they may ask you to design the data paths for longest data path instruction. So at that time, if you see the previous example, load word. If you see the load word, all the components except these two adder as well as shift left by 2, except these two components, all the remaining components are available in the data path. So the longest data path instruction is load word. Thank you.